CEO of Rumble, Chris Pavlovski, who's done a lot to ensure free speech, certainly my free speech and Dan Bongino's free speech, the free speech of people that are advocating for your free speech, because ultimately you're what matters, although sometimes I forget that. He has taken on the New York Times, who have written a hit piece about Rumble, claiming that Rumble are pushing misinformation and that Rumble are irresponsible for informing you that dear old Doddery Joe are potentially ushering you towards a hot nuclear war with Russia prior to the inauguration of Trump and his MAGA administration. So let me know in the comments and chat, what do you think is more dangerous and responsible? Openly reporting on the potential that your tax dollars are being used to start Armageddon, or do you think it's more irresponsible that the New York Times are trying to bludgeon you into a state of dumb compliance? Let me know in the comments and chat. At these assets. Apparently the New York Times is coming after Rumble. In the email correspondence below, it's because Rumble creators are warning people of potential nuclear war. This is even after Putin has spoken about the potential of nuclear war and a new nuclear doctrine. Hi Jake, I'm writing from the New York Times. We're working on a story about Rumble that briefly mentions the Roseanne Barr podcast that streams on the platform. I'm contacting you to let you know and also seek comment. The overall story is about the universe of content that exists on Rumble, its audience, and how the news opinion on Rumble contrasts with coverage from other news stories. To complete this story, I deleted my other news sources and relied on Rumble for all my news for a week. Here is how the work is mentioned in the story. There's a video that shows Jake and Roseanne advertising TWC Health with ad copy that says we're on the brink of nuclear war. This clip included in a portion of the story that talks about how many Rumble creators emphasized how nuclear war with Russia was more or less imminent and how sometimes those warnings turned into ads for products. I'm hoping the show would have a comment to share about this or its work more broadly on Rumble. What's amazing about this story is you see the tone of the New York Times. Look at how they're talking from a position of authority and piety. Hello, we've got a few inquiries here. We've been looking at the Rumble universe. Now, the New York Times, let me just tell you a few things off the top of my head that I can remember. Remember when they put that story out about CIA bases being across Ukraine? Do you remember that? That showed that there was a relationship between them. Do you remember when that dude, that young kid, got arrested? What was that kid's name? Oh man, I can't remember him. But the whistleblower, he had a really funny name. I was calling him Little Lad or something. When that kid got arrested, the New York Times were there with the police when he got operated. The New York Times, remember, they're acting like they have moral authority. They have no moral authority, particularly when they're talking about independent media. They're talking about a competitor. They're talking about people that they want to bring down. How do you think that CNN and the New York Times report on Joe Rogan or Rumble or any Rumble contributors, including me? They want to destroy it and bring it down because they recognize that as long as you have access to independent media, you're not going to use their content indefinitely, because what they once had was a kind of brand recognition, all the news that's fit to print. And now what we know them to be is a utensil of propaganda, liars for hire, amplifying the message of the powerful and obfuscating truth, all the while doing it like we're doing some really important stuff. We're doing important things for America. We're real journalists. You see the haughtiness of that Axos event. You remember that when they're like, Joe Rogan's not a real guy. Independent media doesn't matter. Why are they not paying attention to us anymore? Well, the reason they're not paying attention to you anymore, New York Times, is because there are now options and alternatives. And in a marketplace of one, where you have centralized media, I'm talking about the Trusted News Initiative that ensure harmony, which is not a good word when it comes to reporting media, between the BBC, CNN, New York Times, YouTube, etc. People recognize now whose interests converge with those interests. It's the interests of the powerful. Now you have people that are willing to criticize, people with incredible reach. And thanks to platforms like Rumble, you now have access to a variety of controversial and uncomfortable views and perspective. So, this is an important moment. How can you rely on them? Yeah, I see that in the Awake and Wonder chat, that clown, that evil clown of mainstream media. So this is what was sent back, probably from someone called Jake P. I don't know who that is. Are you covering the ad revenue between Pfizer and CNN in this article as well. I'm asking because I'm curious if this article is actual objective news or the standard New York Times hit piece against people who cover real news. If it's actual news, then you're welcome to quote me here. Biden's authorization of long-range missiles is widely believed to be an escalation in the Ukrainian conflict, and Putin has floated the idea of nuclear war in response. We want Americans safe and protected from this wildly corrupt administration, whether that's through education or highlighting specific products that can protect them. That is an amazing burn. What an incredible comeback. Thank God. Like, whether or not you think Elon Musk is like a bit sort of radical and out there, and you might disagree with 100 things that he does or says. Same for Chris Pavlovski and Rumble. You might think that their creators on here or adverts are on here that you don't agree with. But the reason the New York Times are trying to attack Rumble is not because they are guardians of truth, trying to foster and convey truth to people. It's quite the opposite. It's because they want to control the narrative. And the reason they want to control the narrative is their livelihood is dependent on it. That is so brilliant, that content there. I absolutely love that.
Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in Phoenix, believe that we are endowed by our Creator to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness from the Constitution. A Christian university, eh? GCU believe in equal opportunities and equip everyone to serve others in ways that promote human flourishing, creating, as they believe, a ripple effect of transformation. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctoral degree, GCU's online and on-campus learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique goals. Why don't you learn a bit more? With over 340 academic programs as of March 2024, GCU provide you with a path to fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Wow, it's a very profound goal, isn't it? Because everything we do is about self, and this is about service. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable education. Visit gcu.edu/Russell. That's visit gcu.edu/Russell. 2 S's, 2 L's. Give it a try. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.